The university students continue with their education, they train, everything is there, it's continuous. But go to the Nigerian Institute of Sports. I've lectured them before. Most of them are confused about what to do because they don't have the equipment, they don't have the wherewithal and everything. So nobody is going to lose hope, but we have to let people realize what's happening, and what's happening is really near tragedy, honestly, because it's all about the athletes. But at the end of the day, even a lot of athletes couldn't even get visas to live here. What kind of situation is that? So the athletes are not the focal points anymore. And that's what we are talking about. The elections to the Athletics Federation, all the federations, was so big. People are fighting like the normal Nigerian politics. So it doesn't make sense. Who thinks about the athletes? Nobody. 90% of Nigerian athletes are going to other countries. Look at Bahrain, look at all these other countries. That's what they are doing. It's very simple. And it's going to continue because most of them are winning medals here and they've got the conducive atmosphere. And it's not happening for the first time. Gloria Alozie, remember a lot of them. Because when we interview them, they are like, Olusoji Fasuba is a great example. Record in Africa up till now is 100 meters record is still intact. But he was complaining then that when he goes back to his base in Europe, this is the African record holder. Somebody who won at the Commonwealth Games, did well at the Olympic Games and everything. All of a sudden, he was living with a colleague who is from Canada who has won nothing. And, he told us, he said, you know what? Every morning, his country devotes a Porsche car to come and carry him from here. He goes to enter the train. They don't even know who he is. He doesn't have any support from his country. He had to quit. And he said, listen, I have to empower my family. Now he's in the
it's a good thing. It's a good thing you say that you haven't lost hope. And, quite a number of people will say that, we shouldn't lose hope in terms of the potential that sports hold, especially when we're looking at, the talent that exists here in Nigeria and what can be done to ensure that a number of young people are engaged in this very lucrative aspect of life. But then some people will also say that much as they have never heard of, the Sports Institute, which we have here. I mean, a number of people will never have heard of it. But then, are you sure that we will ever get back on track? Because when we look at conversations that are going on with the AFN, the Athletics Federation of Nigeria, and people threatening to sue and counter-sue, you have to ask, do we really have any direction in that particular instance? Are people even looking there at all? Is government at any level looking to correct the anomalies in that area?
Is not looking to. The government doesn't care. The government doesn't even think about sports. I mean, as far as the government is concerned, and that's what one of the major problems, because every time ministers are appointed, the government just puts a minister because to them, football really is not a priority. Sports is not a priority. The only way we're going to get to where we were before, we will not lose hope. Okay.
I'll allow you to continue on your thread of thoughts. I hope you don't lose it. We'll take a quick break and we'll be back after this messages.
Exactly.
But let's go back to your line of thoughts, though.
Yeah, I was talking about you were talking about government, and I was saying, you know what, the government doesn't no priority for sports really for years now, because to them it's just a recreation for them. So they bring in, you know, 9 out of 10 times you bring in a minister who doesn't have anything to do with sports, who doesn't have the history, who doesn't know any. It doesn't make any sense, because at the end of the day, you just make things really worse. But the fundamental defect for sports in Nigeria is the fact that the government does not know how to use it. We were in Ethiopia, we made highly Gabriel Selassie and all that, and the planning they have up till now, they don't care about 100 meters or 200 or 400. No, it's the relay.
No, but you know that in Nigeria, for instance, the glory and the glamour of the 100 meters, we cannot let that lose, because when you talk about Africa, Nigeria is number one.
No, I'm not talking about Nigeria going for. I'm not saying
100 meters. In fact, when it comes to the sprint events, say Blessing Okabari now, she's unable to make it through in the 100 meters or the 200 meters, which is her stronghold, but she seems to have a grasp on the long jump,
which she's supposed to have concentrated on for some years now. But then, talking about 100 meters or not, there was a time Blessing was having a lot of lovely times. She was fitter. The older you look at Usain Bolt, for me, Usain Bolt should never have been here, because he's been there. His records, I don't think anybody can beat his record. There was no need for that. It doesn't matter, I know, but there was no need for him to have come back to run now for that 100 meters. There was no need, because every day. Blessing Okabari of about 6, 7, 8 years ago is not this Blessing. Things are evolving. It's getting tougher. Look at the competitions now to what we used to have. It's tougher now, really. Trust me. So I was talking about government.
So isn't it about the preparations, not the toughness?
She prepared. She's got the money. She's got the backing. She has the coaches. 99.9% of Nigerian athletes don't. The government do not care. So that's why they go to other countries. It's very simple. In your country, there are no facilities. In your countries, you beg for money on social network. In your country, the government doesn't have any plan. No insurance. If anything happens to you, I can go on and on.
Kayode Tijani, Kayode Tijani, sports analyst. I want to thank you so much indeed for talking to us about this ongoing IAAF championship and how Nigeria stands to, adjust and make it better and make our athletes have that kind of spirit and motivation to improve whenever we go out to fly the nation's flags. And that's how it's been on Sunrise Daily. Today is Friday. I'll be with you, though. That will be much later in the evening for State of the Nation, where we'll look at some other troubling issues in the country. I'm Gimba Umar.
Well, thank you for watching. Hopefully we'll also see you in hard copy. I'm Maokbe Ogun.